DeTv News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.
It's back to class for thousands of Delaware school children.
A fleet of utility trucks left Delaware Monday for hurricane-torn Louisiana. What can Delaware expect from the remnants of Ida? We've got your forecast ahead.
And a Wilmington Manor volunteer firefighter and Good Samaritan is laid to rest.
Those stories ahead, plus your local sports report coming up.
Hello and welcome to DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for being with us today.
We tried to go back and get another family member. The water was so high, we couldn't get back. She's stuck in the house right now.
As Wilmington spent the day assessing the damage brought by the remnants of Hurricane Ida, one family told of a harrowing morning as neighbors woke them up around 6:30 a.m. with the warning to leave their home. The two parents grabbed their 4 children and they sat at one of 2 emergency centers set up in the city without shoes or even diapers for the children. The wake of Hurricane Ida left a path of death and destruction in the Northeast Wednesday night into Thursday morning. In Wilmington, there were no deaths reported, but roughly 200 people had to be rescued from their homes when record-setting floodwaters crossed the banks of the Brandywine River, flooding much of the city's east side and riverside neighborhoods. 5 inches of rain fell, according to the National Weather Service, submerging roads and shopping centers. Multiple roads and bridges into Pennsylvania remain closed to traffic as officials waited for the water to recede before assessing the damage. Waters were expected to recede below the flood level by midnight tonight, according to the National Weather Service. Roughly 100 people were brought to 2 emergency centers set up by the city. Using hard bottom and inflatable boats, the Wilmington Fire Department and water rescue teams from across Newcastle County and Kent County continued rescue operations throughout the day. Delaware Emergency Management Agency also deployed resources from the National Guard to assist. In other top news, thousands of Delaware school children headed back to school after 18 months of learning remotely because of the pandemic. At Brandywine Springs Elementary, the Red Clay School District students were eager to head through the doors, toting their lunch boxes and backpacks, while parents and students waited for the doors to open at Castle Hills Elementary School in the Colonial School District. All students in Delaware are required to wear face masks while inside the buildings, along with teachers and staff. That mandate was handed down by the governor before school resumed. Hope is the masks will help mitigate the spread of COVID-19, but already some schools are reporting cases which will require other students to return home for virtual learning in order to quarantine. Despite that, parents told DETV News they are excited to have the children back in school.
It was hard during the pandemic. My son can't sit home. He was all over the place. So to be home every day, all day, and not go nowhere to get out for a couple of hours, that's what I feel like it'll be back. Finally going back to normal.
I'm very excited that they're back in school. They need this more so than being at home. They get bored and nothing to do, and school, they're excited, and I'm excited. Grandmother's excited.
I feel the kids need socialization. However, if the family feels they need to still be home, then they should keep them home. But I'm excited. My daughter was remote since the first time school shut down, so she wanted to come back.
We're excited, to get the kids back to school, work on their social skills, and try to get everything back to regular, to normal, That's what we're trying to do.
As excited and hopeful as many parents and students are, hundreds of children around the state won't be headed back to class. That's because districts have given families an option to remain virtual. Lindsay DeMedio, principal of the Colonial School District's virtual program, says the remote learning option was okayed by the school board after educators realized some students did better both academically and emotionally by staying at home.
We had students that really rose to the occasion and were academically more successful virtually than they were in person.
350 students are enrolled in Colonial's virtual program, and there are students on the waiting list. Remote learning is equally as popular in the Christina School District. Teacher Joe Gleason said the virtual program offers another choice to parents and students.
Some kids learn best in person around their peers. Other kids learn best at home where they can be supported by their families and have less distractions at home. So, every learner is different, and it's just one way that Colonial is providing access.
In other school-related news, the shortage of bus drivers is still a roadblock for many districts across the state. The Capital School District, for one, was forced to change its schedule to ensure all students got to and from school. But that's not all. In school districts in Delaware are also dealing with a shortage of lunchroom supplies and last-minute food deliveries because the main distributor is struggling with a lack of enough drivers. James Trower, who runs the nutrition department in the Capital School District, says the district is scaling back on menu options available to students for now. And in Colonial, nutrition supervisor Paula Angelucci had some anxious moments wondering if they would even get a food delivery in time for the start of school.
Well, it was a rough start, considering that we were notified very late in the day that we would not be receiving our opening school orders and deliveries. However, we quickly reached out on Tuesday to our local vendors, thankfully to Pat's Pizza and as well as High Point Dairy. They committed to us to providing pizzas and additional food products to get us started. And then in the 9th hour, our prime vendor was able to deliver. But had it not been for these local vendors that always have been supportive of Colonial school districts as well as other school districts, we would have really been challenged with what food products we would have been able to serve to students for the first day of school.
A spokeswoman for U.S. Foods said the company was facing staffing challenges in its Allentown distribution center because of COVID-related impacts on available supplies. A spokeswoman for the Department of Education said U.S. Foods was planning to switch Delaware deliveries from its Allentown distribution center to one in Bridgeport in hopes districts will receive full deliveries on time moving forward.
Delaware schools are set to receive more than $669 million in federal taxpayer money as part of the government's response to the pandemic. The amount of money allocated equals more than 40% of the state's general fund budget for school district and charter school operations. Since March of 2020, the federal government has provided $190 billion in pandemic aid to schools, an amount that is more than 4 times what the U.S. Department of Education spends on K-12 schools in a typical school year. The aid averages about $2,800 per student, but varies widely by districts and states, with some low-income schools getting more funds. Turning now back to Hurricane Ida, local energy crews left Delaware Monday to help restore power in Louisiana. Nearly 50 employees from Delmarva Power and Atlantic Electric gathered to get their marching orders to load up 24 trucks and equipment and supplies needed to head south for the restoration mission. Crews are expected to be deployed for at least 2 weeks.
We're heading down to Hurricane to help out with the restoration efforts. As of last night, they had about 1 million customers out of power. It's been basically total devastation. So our job is to go down there and help them, no different than they would help us in the time of need.
The Category 4 storm tore down power lines throughout Louisiana, leaving an estimated 900,000 residents and businesses without power, including the city of New Orleans. Power is not expected to be restored fully for many weeks. In more news about Ida, Delaware received a shipment of 110 homeless pets ahead of the storm. Animal shelters in Ida's path put out a call to shelters around the country to accept dogs, cats, and other pets. Delaware's Brandywine Valley SPCA received 50 dogs and 60 cats from a rural Louisiana shelter on Saturday. All of the animals were quickly adopted by animal lovers, and the SPCA waived all adoption fees. Another flight carrying more than 100 animals from Louisiana landed in Georgetown yesterday. Those animals will also be sent to area rescue shelters where they will be put up for adoption for free.
And Lauren, it looks like the holiday weekend will be spared from this wet weather. The Labor Day weather forecast is coming up right after this break. Stay with us. You're watching DETV News.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like, what y'all got going on is wonderful. And no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back. If you're headed to the beach this Labor Day weekend, you'll be able to head to the point where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Delaware Bay. That area has been shut down for quite a while for the sake of birds. The point at Cape Henlopen State Park and a half-mile along the bay shoreline has been closed since March 1st to allow migratory shorebirds and endangered beach nesters to have a safe home. The shutdowns have taken place each March since 1993 to try to help the reverse in the decline of shorebird populations. Bayside access is expected to be closed until October 1st to help shorebirds with their send-off as they begin heading south for the winter.
In much sadder news, today a fallen hero is being remembered as firefighters from near and far gather to honor one of their own. Yesterday, hundreds of firefighters from all over the region were on hand for viewing services for a Wilmington Manor volunteer firefighter who was killed last weekend when she stopped to assist a motorist on I-95. 25-year-old Cecilia C.C. Escobar Dublan was on her way back from work when she saw a car that had crashed southbound on I-95 near Wilmington. Police say when she walked to the car to help the driver, she was struck by a passing truck that didn't see her because of bright lights and weather conditions.
From everybody in the department that interacted with her and the chief officers that dealt with her on a frequent basis, the same comment comes out. Very pleasurable person to be around, very determined on getting better and improving his skills and becoming a benefit to community.
A full procession drove to Gracelawn Memorial Park in Newcastle, where a graveside ceremony complete with pipes and drum honors, along with a dove release, was held. Last Saturday, family, community members, firefighters, and elected officials gathered in Wilmington's Rodney Square to honor the life and service of a woman who died while doing what first responders do best, helping others.
Cece will always be part of our hearts because she gave of hers so graciously. May she rest with the angels.
A suspended state trooper recognized with honors for issuing traffic tickets now stands accused of making them up. Corporal Edwin Ramirez was indicted on charges he allegedly falsified dozens of tickets and warnings by the state attorney general's office. An investigation revealed Ramirez issued more than 30 fraudulent warnings and tickets in April 2021 alone without motorists being informed, and in some cases with no traffic stop ever even occurring. In a statement, Attorney General Kathy Jennings said what Ramirez did, quote, undermines the work that good police officers do every day. Ramirez received the 2020 Troop 9 Traffic Ace Award for issuing 458 traffic citations and 640 traffic warnings. An investigation into the full extent of his potential misconduct is continuing. Ramirez faces felony charges of tampering with public records and other offenses. If convicted on all charges, he faces 9 years in prison. Anyone who feels they may have been impacted by Ramirez's actions is asked to email the Attorney General's office at publictrust@delaware.gov.
A former provider of mental health and addiction treatment services in Delaware has agreed to pay nearly $14 million to settle 2 federal lawsuits linked to healthcare fraud. Connections Community Support Services, once the largest provider of medical services to the Department of Corrections, was charged with improperly billing for mental health services. The company, which has since declared bankruptcy, also agreed to pay about $2 million to resolve its claims that it failed to keep proper records of its use of controlled substances and the transfer of controlled substances between various locations. The U.S. Attorney's Office is also looking into claims against 3 corporate executives.
In related news, a former nurse for Connections has been convicted on charges of lying to authorities regarding the death of an inmate. It happened at the Sussex Correctional Center back in 2018. Investigators say Connections nurse Erin Clark Penland said she saw the inmate the night before he died and entered the claim in official medical logs. According to the Attorney General's office, video surveillance and witness testimony showed both claims were lies. Clark Penland was found guilty of falsifying business records and providing a false statement to law enforcement on Monday. She'll be sentenced at a later date and could face up to 2 years behind bars.
Tuesday was International Overdose Awareness Day, a day to acknowledge those lost from substance abuse. It honors the memories of those whose lives have been cut short and recognizes the enormous grief shared by families left behind. Delaware has the 2nd highest rate of overdose deaths in the United States. The Diamond State recently passed a Senate resolution designating August 31st as International Overdose Awareness Day. State flags were flown at half staff at all state facilities.
The first Black woman to become a newspaper editor and publisher in North America finally got her due in Wilmington, where she once lived. Led by Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, this Wilmington post office at 500 Delaware Avenue was renamed the Mary Ann Shad Carey Post Office in her honor. Shad Carey also gained national prominence as she fought for equal rights, especially for women. Blunt Rochester told onlookers she was stunned after learning no memorial in the first state bore her name, and that's why she got legislation passed to recognize her. Shad Carey was born in 1823 and became a key figure in the abolitionist movement as well.
There was nothing in Delaware to mark this incredible woman. They have stuff in Canada, they have stuff in Washington, D.C., but today, we will unveil a marker here in Delaware. So I am excited that Mary Ann Shad Carey will be celebrated here in her home state.
Several elected officials joined Blunt Rochester Monday at the Delaware Avenue Post Office to unveil a plaque bearing her name.
DeTv has partnered with Christiana Care's Gene Editing Institute to create an educational video series designed to inspire high school students to consider careers in what's becoming one of the most exciting frontiers in science and medicine now, gene editing. The video series imparts the message that gene editing is poised to revolutionize the way doctors fight diseases like sickle cell. It also lets teens know the door is open to those who want to consider gene editing technology as a career.
We wanted to actually execute something in the classroom for students not only to understand about breakthrough technologies that could help solve or cure very serious inherited diseases, often that affect populations of color, by utilizing a hands-on demonstration of the breakthrough gene editing technology, CRISPR. And we felt that while very well-to-do schools, privileged schools, would often be taught this wonderful technology, our mission was to introduce it to all high schools in Delaware and eventually nationwide, no matter what the social circumstances were.
The video, called CRISPR in the Classroom, is available to schools across the country and is already being used by the Appoquinimink High School and others around the state. One of the main purposes of this series is to invoke deeper conversations about inequality in science education and to discuss the need for more scientists of color.
Hockessin's Mount Cuba Center broke ground on a new sustainable greenhouse and plant production space. Plans also call for a new woodland glade garden, a welcome center, and a new guest parking lot to open next spring. The organization plans to use the greenhouse to grow plants for its own gardens and other research studies and institutions. Mount Cuba's current greenhouse was built back in 1962. The new huge glass box will use green energy sources such as on-site solar power and geothermal heating to be 100% sustainable, meaning it will create as much energy as it uses over the course of a year.
And young readers who love listening to a good story can now use Dial a Story thanks to Newcastle County Libraries. The new service offers access to free recorded stories. Patrons can reach Dial a Story by simply calling 302-991-0199. Prompts will guide you to choose which story you'd like your kids to hear. New recordings will be released every month, and each story is between 5 to 15 minutes long. Internet access is not required to hear the stories, which are available 24/7. Newcastle County Executive Matt Myers said the program continues to trend for libraries that offer services beyond their walls and is perfect for homebound families, those with busy schedules, or anyone just feeling under the weather.
Representatives from Delaware's live music venues and theaters recently gathered to celebrate because their doors are still open, thanks in part to a federal relief pandemic program. The Save Our Stages Act was co-sponsored by U.S. Senator Tom Carper. The Small Business Administration runs the program and has awarded 33 grants to Delaware organizations.
For us, it means survival. We needed to raise $5 million to be able to reopen after the pandemic. You know, we went from having a thriving organization that was selling lots of tickets and renting lots of space and getting lots of donations to being shut down virtually overnight. Well, today we're very glad to be visited by our friend and our big supporter, Senator Tom Carper, to announce the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant that the Grand and over 30 other organizations in Delaware received from the federal government to restore our financial situation.
Grants were provided to eligible organizations that suffered revenue losses during the pandemic. Included are live venues, promoters, art organizations, museums, and theatrical producers. You can add the Grand Opera House to the list of places requiring proof of your COVID vaccination or a negative test within 72 hours of an event for entry into its theaters. Patrons, volunteers, and staff will also be required to wear a mask indoors regardless of vaccination status. The Grand made the decision after consulting with health officials while watching the dramatic surge of COVID-19 cases as the Delta variant spreads throughout the country. Sticking with the arts, Delaware Shakespeare will be coming to downtown Wilmington when PNC Arts Alive presents A Midsummer Night's Dream on Rodney Square. The free outdoor production is presented in partnership with the City of Wilmington. The performances represent the company's return to full production since the pandemic and is believed to be the first theater performance ever in Rodney Square. Save the dates, A Midsummer Night's Dream will be performed at 7 p.m. on September 16th to 18th and at 2 p.m. on September 19th. Now, seating space is on a first-come, first-served basis. Audience members must bring their own chairs or a blanket. For more information, you can visit delshakes.org. From the arts to sports, stay tuned. DETV's Nick Alessandrini is coming up next with your local sports report right after this message.
Jessica, we need to leave right now. I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's a me no one knows. Waiting to be set
So
free.
what's the empty suitcase for? The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.
Welcome back to DETV News. I'm Nick Alessandrini. It's time to talk about some sports, as today is the day we kick off both high school and college football here in Delaware. We'll start with high school football as week 0 is set to get underway tonight, as well as into the weekend, and there are some great matchups to kick it off. A new look for Delaware high school football this season. This is the first year with the new football realignment here in Delaware, and there will now be 3 classifications with 2 to 3 districts per classification, as you can see here. Now, with our friends over at Delaware Live, we have our first football top 5 rankings of the fall, and we'll start with AAA. Number 1 will be ranked Middletown, number 2 Smyrna, number 3 Sussex Central, number 4 William Penn, and number 5 Salesianum. On to AA classification, your top-ranked team is Howard at number 1, Archmere at number 2, DMA at number 3, St. Mark's High School at number 4, and Woodbridge at number 5. On to our single A, number 1 is Laurel, number 2 St. E's, number 3 Glasgow, number 4 Indian River, and number 5 Tatnall. One of the best matchups tonight and throughout week 0 will be one of those teams that you see on that list, and that's number 5 Salesianum, who will travel down to the beach where they will meet the Cape Henlopen Vikings, who just sit outside that top 5. Sally's finished 3-4 last season, and Cape 4-3 through that difficult 2020 last fall, but both with high expectations coming into 2021. It's a great matchup to get our Delaware high school football season started. You can catch it live on Delaware Live Sports tonight at 7 p.m. Just head over to their YouTube channel. Some other week 0 matchups are set for this week, as you can see on your screen. High school football is back here in the First State. And not only does high school football return tonight, but college football in Delaware as well. The University of Delaware Blue Hens will open up their season tonight as they travel up to Maine to take on the Black Bears. The last time that these two CAA teams met was back in week 1 of the spring season, where the Hens rolled to a 37-0 win at home behind 290 yards on the ground. The Hens are coming off a strong spring season where they finished 7-1 overall and made an FCS semifinal appearance. Delaware is ranked number 2 in the CAA preseason poll and number 5 in the FCS rankings. You can catch the game live on the station for all UD Sports, 94.7 WDSD, with kickoff set for 7 p.m. Calling all local Hoopers. If you think you have some potential on the basketball court, your chance is coming to show it. The Delaware Bluecoats, the G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers, is holding open tryouts on Sunday, October 3rd. There will be 2 sessions, one from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and another from 1 to 4 p.m. All participants will be evaluated by the Philadelphia 76ers and Delaware Bluecoats basketball operations staff. Registration includes an official Bluecoats tryout jersey and 2 tickets to a future Bluecoats game. Per NBA G League requirements, all players attending the local tryout must be fully vaccinated for COVID-19 to attend. Head on over to bluecoats.gleague.nba.com for more information. Now for our last repeat of last season's top plays, is next week we're going to have all new plays from this week 0 coming up, but we're going to go back to last fall for this week's top plays, and they all come on the football field. We're going to get started at number 4, and it's Zaire Tart from Middletown. Check out these plays from last year. He's a wide receiver. Here he's going to show off his defensive capability there, putting the wide receiver skills to the test, able to make the catch, the interception at the 30, 2 feet in. That would have been good in the NFL. Next possession, again on defense, is Zaire Tart. There's the catch on the outside. He's going to come up and just take the ball clean away, and then he's off to the races. Check it out, trying to make a few defenders miss here as he tries to take it the other way. But Zaire Tart with 2 big defensive plays and impressive ones to get us started this week at number 4. On to number 3, it's Jordan Evans, the quarterback out of Woodbridge. He was very impressive last year. You're going to see him here up 8-0 on Laurel in the second quarter. Pocket collapses. He's able to get out, make a few defenders miss. Check out the misses he's able to create, and then he shows off the speed. How about one more tackle at the end? Why not? And then he's able to get into the end zone. Very impressive run there from Evans and Woodbridge at number 3. On to number 2, it's Michael Pearson. You remember him from Middletown. Very impressive. Here he is going to show you what he can do with the ball in his hands. Middletown up big over Hodson. Handoff straight up the middle, makes one defender miss, and then shows off the Jets here. No one going to be able to catch him. One more tackle broken at the 20. He's to the 10-5 and able to get into the end zone for the big touchdown from Michael Pearson at number 2 from Middletown. And that's going to take us to our top play. It's Philip P.J. Stratton, and it's a special teams play. It's Sussex Central and Salesianum. Salesianum just scored to get on the board here in the 4th, 12-7 Sussex, and then he's going to pick it up right here at about his own 5-yard line and show you how to return a kickoff. Follows his blockers, able to find some space, and then off the speed here, gets to the sideline, able to make one last defender miss at the end, and he's going to take it all the way, 92 yards for the touchdown. The kickoff return for Stratton And that'll do it for our top plays this week. That'll do it for sports this week, and a big week it is. More DETV news after the break.
If you love concerts and live theater, going to baseball games, and eating in restaurants, inside, if you love parties and the small talk with the guy who makes you iced coffee the right way, then wear a mask and let's beat this virus so we can get back to the things we love. Mask up, America.
Welcome back. As if we needed another reminder that COVID is still interfering with upcoming fall festivals, the Canal Side Inn and Rehoboth Beach Main Street has canceled the 2021 edition of Oktoberfest in Rehoboth Beach. Event organizers say the cancellation comes as a result of the current growth of new COVID cases in the region and the ongoing public health emergency. Full refunds will be issued for those who already signed up for the event. Hope is the celebration will return in the fall of 2022.
Well, not to be interrupted is Delaware's largest two-day outdoor cultural event, and it's back, celebrating a big birthday. The Brandywine Festival of the Arts returns to Brandywine Park for the 60th year on September 11th and 12th. The festival features artisans of all kinds and is always held the weekend after Labor Day, with organizers saying the popular event marks the beginning of the transition from summer to fall. Festival hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, September 11th, and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, September 12th. Admission is just $5 for both days, with children under 12 accompanied by an adult. They're free. Free shuttle bus transportation will be available at Salesianum School and Abasino Stadium.
An organization called Tunnel to Towers Delmarva will hold two fundraising events this month to honor fallen Delaware State Police Corporal Stephen Ballard. Ballard was shot and killed on April 26 in 2017 when he approached a suspicious vehicle in a Wawa parking lot in Bear. He served on the Delaware State Police Force for 8 years and left behind his wife Louise and their daughter. On Friday, September 17th, the group will hold the first annual Let Us Do Good Ball at the Fort Miles Museum located at Cape Henlopen State Park. Along with heavy hors d'oeuvres and live music, there will be a silent auction, a presentation honoring military and first responders lost in the line of duty, and a special presentation from the Delaware State Police Honor Guard. Ticket sales are limited and are available online only. For more information, visit the site on your screen. That's not all. On Sunday, September 19th, the group will hold its third annual 5K walk and run, also at Fort Miles Museum. The course runs through various parts of Cape Henlopen Park and is 3.43 miles long to honor the 343 firefighters who were killed on September 11th. The website on your screen is where you can find more information to register for that event.
The U.S. Attorney's Office of Delaware is hoping Wilmington goes blue for the upcoming 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The goal is to light up the city's office buildings with blue lights and place blue tea lights in windows on September 10th to commemorate the memory of those lost their lives on 9/11 and to show support for law enforcement and all first responders. Kim Reeves in the U.S. Attorney's Office said local businesses would be contacted and asked to participate.
And for the second year in a row, the Rotary Club of Wilmington has installed more than 500 American flags over a half a mile of the Wilmington riverfront. The Flags for Heroes honors the U.S. military, first responders, and frontline workers. The flags are scheduled to remain on the riverfront until September 20th. Stay with us. We have a very special announcement when we return. Don't go away. You're watching DETV News.
Swimming brought me back to life from a very, very dark place. It was a very difficult moment to realize I wasn't going to walk home that night. I think it was after that first week that I started fighting. As crazy as it may sound, I'm thankful for that day. I learned a lot about how to love myself again. And I think that's what it's about. It's about not only the moments, but how we react to them and where we choose to go from that point. To me, resiliency is that will to never give up, to never give in, and to always keep fighting the fight.
And finally tonight, a story that started in a basement and, well, ended up here.
That's right, Lauren. We're very excited to share a very special birthday with not just one of our own, but the one who is the driving force behind DETV. From launching a Wilmington-based morning show, local cooking shows, a legislative review show, to this very newscast you're watching here right now, our founder and fearless leader, Ivan Thomas, is celebrating his birthday this weekend. And to help us wish him the happiest of birthdays, here are some very special messages. Take a look.
Just wanted to make a special birthday shout out to Ivan, aka Big Ive, live at 5, man. This is Tariq from Code Differently, and I just want to say happy birthday, man. All the best.
Hi, Ivan. It's me, Marla. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday and let you know that you are just such a gift to the world. And I hope that you have a blessed and beautiful birthday. Love you.
Happy birthday, Ivan, from Gable Music Ventures. We love you.
Hope you're having an awesome day, man.
Have a great day. We love you. Bye.
Hey, Matt Meyer, accounting executive here to wish Ivan Thomas, Big Ive, DETV's Big Ive, a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ivan. The man, the myth, the legend. It's your day, man. Enjoy it. We hope you have a great one.
Most definitely. Many blessings to you for such big things to come in your future. Blessings today and every day.
Ivan, you're always showing love and positivity to everyone. It's time for us and everybody else to celebrate and show the positive that you continue to do. Enjoy your day, bro. You've been a great big bro. I appreciate you. Happy birthday, man.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
What's up, Big Ive? It's the DETV crew here, wishing you the happiest birthday possible. We love you so much. We appreciate you, and we love to be on this journey with you, buddy.
Thanks for opportunities, Ivan. We love you, appreciate you, wish you many more.
Love you, Ivan. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Never stop dreaming.
All of us here wish to thank Ivan for being such a visionary.
Well, that's a great way to wrap up our report. Thanks so much for tuning in.
From all of us here at DETV News, stay well, and we'll see you next time.
DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.